G'day watchers, welcome to Perth Watch, your horology channel, broadcasting from right here in Perth, Western Australia. Today, I am going back to Ingersoll. This is a brand that I actually have done quite a few reviews of, but haven't done one in a while. This is one of the family pieces, and I am coming back to it after a long time. And this one has a lovely real wood box, which I really enjoy actually, and spinability, I tell you, that's at least a 4, if not 4.5 out of 5, because there's no felt at the bottom. Best spinning wooden box I have ever seen. So let's just open it up, and in here, just a bit of foam packaging, and actually this is quite impressive. That is, actual steel for that warranty or authenticity card here, okay? And then I'm just gonna take this watch off, put the box away, and let's undo the strap and show you guys this particular piece in closer detail. So guys, this is the Ingersoll New England model, the model number I00902 down the bottom. And as far as I can tell, this retail was around $399 USD, I think. It's very difficult to find much solid information on this. Any links I can find, I will, officially put down the bottom here. Now, obviously, a lot of people won't pay full price for this, and you probably find it on discount. Even today, if you can find a retailer, I'm not sure there's many being sold. I can't find this on Amazon, at least not Amazon US. I'll put down anything from Australia if I can find one. Okay, as I usually do, guys, let's first start with the movement. Now, this one, they don't stipulate the caliber on official Ingersoll sites, but look, I think this is very close, if not identical, to Zeon caliber 733. Let me know if you know better than me. Speed is 21,600. It does say 29 joules at the back of the watch here, so that's what it is. I'm not sure what the power reserve is, but this is, I think it's at least 36, but I'll be surprised if it's any less than that. That's a fairly standard one. It does have a few display complications, a day complication at the 3 o'clock position, date at 12 o'clock, big date nonetheless, a month display at 9 o'clock, and an open heart or flywheel is more of a flywheel above the open heart at 6 o'clock there. It does hack, it does have manual winding, rated accuracy, officially unknown. Zeon says plus or minus 30 seconds per day. In use, this is pretty good, plus 6 seconds per day, as I've been running it for over a week. Okay, moving on to the case. This is a 44mm diameter case, so fairly substantial. 15mm stick to the top of the glass there. 20mm lug width, and these are, of course, wire lugs, which pretty classy. I like that they've gone with that in this watch. It really is quite suited to the round design here. Lug to lug distance between my thumbs. Ingersoll do tend to make big ones, and these are 50mm distance between my two thumbnails there. Overall weight on leather strap is only 95, so not particularly heavy and fairly comfortable. I think you can carry this. It's not a very, very heavy metal case by any means. In terms of finishing, quite easy to describe, I would say. There's gold PVD, gold colored PVD here, and it's pretty much full polish all the way around on the lugs, on the case, the bevel, everywhere is just a plain polished finish here. The screw down case back is plain steel. It's not PVD colored. As you can see, that's the original stainless steel there. Display back here, that's screw down, but the crowns are all just pushers. This is just push in, wind at 0 position. These are the pushers for the adjustment, not a chronograph, and they don't have any locks on them. And not surprisingly, the water rating is 50 meters. I think that's fair. You're not going to really want to take this swimming or sporting or anything like that, especially not if you have it on leather here. Okay, in terms of operation, let me just show you quickly here how it works. So, that's obviously winding there, stop, and you can see adjustment of the time and hacking, right? The flywheel stops, and that's really a tourbillon type of look here, but that's just a flywheel that rotates once a minute. And then in terms of the month, you have to, as far as I can tell, you actually have to adjust that yourself. It's just a manual display. And then the date does click over every day. And that's a big date, which is kind of cool because you've got two wheels forming the two separate numbers there. That's how this big date display works. And the day of the week, sorry, I don't have a pusher with me, but you get a spring bar tool or a paper clip and just push that, and that will just change the day of the week. That does click over every day. So that one is the only one you have to manually adjust once a month. Okay, moving on to the dial then. So this is a blue dial, right? It's a deep blue dial. It's got a Clou de Paris pattern, various different textures here, azurage on the periphery or the outer circle, and then a little bit of azurage on the sub dials as well. It's got embossed, I don't think there's applied the embossed gold PVD type of indices and even numbered numerals. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Yeah, actually the 6 is mostly destroyed by the open heart there. Okay, but you know, even numbered indices here, and then a printed chapter ring on the periphery. And it's a slight clash, but I think it works, you know, because there are white printings on here, but gold elsewhere. Somehow that kind of works out, this deep blue with the gold. I think deep blue with gold always works, but with the white, it's interesting that, you know, kind of like plays well into this particular design here. The hands are gold PVD leaf hands, and they've just put a simple point for the seconds, nothing wrong with that. And then they've got mini leaves. Reminds me of Panerai, actually, mini leaves for the sub-dials there. Loom-wise, it's only on the two main hands, on the two sub-dial hands, so the four, I guess, leaf hands on the dial here, nowhere else. So you can read the time, but that's about it in the dark. You're not going to be able to read anything else, and you can't even see the seconds hand. Loom shot right here for you guys to see how it looks in the dark, of course. Okay, above the dial is a fairly nice domed crystal, actually. So you can see it does give some distortion here, and I really like dome crystals, as you know. This is just a mineral crystal, so it's going to be a little bit of a scratch magnet, but you generally won't be wearing a watch like this doing anything rough, so that's probably passable, I think, but just keep in mind it's going to be a bit of a scratch magnet. Strap wise, now the original does come with the black stitch alligator style strap. We've actually swapped this out. As I said, this is a family piece. We've swapped this out. It's still got the Ingersoll hardware here. It is an Ingersoll strap, but I think this actually goes better, with the overall theme of this watch. The original black, I'll put screenshots here for you guys to see how it actually looks like. Let me know which one you would prefer yourself. Okay, and there we go. That's the entire description. Let's put it on the wrist for a wrist shot for you guys now. And there you go, guys. The Ingersoll New England model, the deep blue model. They do come in different dial colors. I'll try to find some screenshots and put it here for you guys if you want to see other dial colors. Now this is my wrist is 17 centimeter diameter. Just remember, this is a big watch. Okay, so 44 diameter. It's got 50 millimeter lug to lug distance here, 15 millimeter high. It's kind of Panerai size, and arguably it's maybe technically too big for me, but hey, somehow this carries okay. Maybe because it's rounded, it sinks into the wrist a bit, and overall it kind of carries okay in a smart casual setting, and attractive enough that it does have, it has attracted some comments. People have said that, that is a good looking watch on the wrist, especially if you're, a bit more dressed up for a cocktail party or something like that. Okay, so that's the entire description. What have I enjoyed? What do we enjoy about this watch? Somehow, look, I think they go for the fascinating old style, and it works. Ingersoll, it works. They are no longer, of course, even owned by European or US. I think it's actually owned by a Chinese conglomerate now. Correct me if I'm wrong, but look, they're kind of leaning into the German sounding name here. Old world style, it kind of works, and it dresses up with fancy details, right? They've put a lot of kind of little touches here, but it manages to stay relatively honest, right? Look, people sometimes say that these are pretending to be a chronograph. Well, maybe, but I think just a closer glance will tell you this is not a chronograph. Yes, it's got these pushes, and that's just for, date and day and whatnot. But I think, most people look at this and they just appreciate the details that are in here. You know, it's not tourbillon either. That's a flywheel, and they certainly don't even mention, you know, tourbillon style or anything like that in their marketing materials. I think it's a comfortable design. As I say, this rounded case somehow works very well. It's stylish, and they've got lots of nice little touches. So the comfy, you know, wire lugs, in addition to the roundness of the case, the dial details, the azurage, the embossing, you know, the gold finishings and all that. Nice details, and not to mention the box crystal. I really like box crystals. Just a sucker for them. And aficionados will not be fooled that, you know, this is an expensive watch, but casually, it looks much more expensive than it actually is. Any weaknesses? Well, you know, what can I say, really? I mean, it's large, it is blingy, so it's not a watch for everyone. It's limited versatility. You're not going to be taking this, you know, anywhere. You know, very casual, very rough. Definitely not for that. It's only 5-meter water resistance. It's got leather. It's gold colored, so not for everyone and not for everywhere by any means. So guys, there we go. My first Ingersoll review for a very, very long time. Let me know your thoughts below on what you think. And especially if you own any Ingersoll watches, would love to hear your experiences. Thank you again for sticking with me, guys. As usual, I will catch you next time.